In the 6th part, Dom Gueranger concluded the romance of the Jews and the Romans, of Jerusalem and the Empire, and the Christian martyrs caught between them. We now conclude Chapter 1 of the Christian sense of history.
A third supernatural fact, a fact which must last until the consummation of the ages, calls for his attention and requires all his eloquence. This fact is the preservation of the Church through time, without mixture in her doctrine, without alteration in her hierarchy, without suspension in her duration, without faltering in her march. 1,000 great human affairs have begun, have developed, and have fallen into decline. The ordinary running of Providence watched over them for the duration of their existence. Today there is no more trace of them, except in history. The Church is still standing. God sustains her directly. And every man of good faith, capable of applying the laws of analogy, can read in the facts concerning her this immortal promise that she bears at her base, written by the hand of God. She will last forever. Heresies, scandals, defections, conquests, revolutions, nothing has succeeded. Pushed out of one country, she advances on another, always visible, always Catholic, always conquering, and always under attack. This third fact, which is merely the consequence of the first, ultimately gives the Christian historian the raison d'etre of humanity. He concludes that the vocation of our race is obviously a supernatural one. That all the nations on earth not only belong to God, who created the first human family, but are also, as the prophet said, the particular domain of the man-God. And so, no more mysteries in the succession of the centuries, no more inexplicable vicissitudes. Everything moves towards the goal. Every problem resolves itself by this divine fact. Admittedly, it takes courage to treat history in this mode today, above all, when one is not of the clergy. When one believes sincerely, when one would not want for anything in the world to be full of the sense and manners of the fatalist and humanitarian schools. But the naturalist school is so great in number and talent, and so benevolent towards Christianity, that it is difficult to defy it completely, and not to be, in their eyes, merely a mystic writer, or at most, a man of poetry, when one aspires to the reputation of science and philosophy. All that can be said is that history has been treated from this point of view by two great Christian geniuses, and that their reputation was not thereby shipwrecked. The City of God by St. Augustine and the Discourse on Universal History by Bossuet are two applications of this theory. The way, therefore, is masterfully marked out, and in following such men, one can endure the futile judgments of contemporary naturalism. Without doubt, it is no small thing to model one's intimate life on the supernatural principle. But it would be a grave inconsistency, a serious culpability, were this principle not to guide the pen. Let us look at humanity in its relations with Jesus Christ, its head. Let us never isolate it, either in our judgments or in our narrative. And when we consider a map of the world, let us remember above all that we have before our eyes the empire of the man-God and of his church.